Hey everyone, today I'm going to give you guys an overview of CCV repository analysis that I've built. The purpose of this application is to identify repositories that needs to be archived based on the parameters such as stars, forks, last activity, or and these could be ordered based on descending or ascending, or there is even an option to select only active, archived, and by default the application is loaded with six repositories based on the following sorting parameters. So we have an option to change as many as possible based on which the graph and the DOM and the repository cards are updated. For example, let's say if I want to if I want 80 repositories and load. So all 80 repositories are loaded and based on which the graph is updated as well. And let's say if I want to change based on forks, so it's going to update based on forks, based on last activity. So it's based on last activity, it's going to be updated, and we even have an option to remove the metrics. So, for example, if I only want to check stars and forks, I could only see them. So these are the features, and another feature is uh, searching. In the search, we are not only searching on the data that is being loaded, but over the across the organization. What I mean by that is, so let's say if I search for website, I get data directly from the database instead of the data that has been loaded earlier, right? So yeah, and the best part about this application is it's highly responsive, and the graph changes as soon as we either search or sort or even select. And final feature about this application is syncing. So when we press syncing, the data is being loaded from GitHub and to our database, and from our database we are fetching our data through sorting the pipeline aggregation pipeline of MongoDB. So, talking about the high-level architecture, this is the high-level architecture of our application. This is a user that is front-end. There are essentially two APIs calls that are going. One is the query API, and other is load GitHub repos, where we are loading data from GitHub to server and some server to database. The tech stack that we are using is for front end, we are using React, and back end, I'm using Spring and Java, and database, I'm using MongoDB. Uh, and Yeah, this is the schema of our database that I'm using, and let me show you here. So this is our database. This is MongoDB Atlas Cloud. So I'm using the cloud database to host our data, and talking more about our application, it is high. So most of our data processing is done at the back end. That what I mean is uh, the data is being fetched and segregated as filtered and even sent to MongoDB, and even the filtering and querying is everything is happening in the database in the backend. Because of which. Our application is highly scalable, extensible, and modular by separation of concerns between backend and front end. What I mean by that is our backend and front end are only connected through an API, and it's not, and they are not connected through any other means. And Coming to deployment, our application has been deployed and currently live and running. This is our live application that is being running right now, and yeah, and I've used something called as Railway app. Currently, there are two services that are running on the application on the Railway app. One is backend, another is frontend, and Yeah, this is pretty much about the application and an overview and high-level overview of our application. And feel free to play around with it and um, yeah, give me as much as feedback as possible. And yeah, talking about the future work, the making this application ubiquitous for any given organization is a goal of is a goal of mine. Um, yeah, hope you like this video. Kindly provide your feedback about this application. Yeah, hope to see you soon. Thank you.